Hello! So today we're going to look at Lightroom to create panoramas. Now panoramas are fantastic things because basically they allow you to use pretty much any lens to create an extremely wide angle view. In order to do it right, you need to be using a tripod and you need to be using a few settings that I'll go through in Lightroom. So let's go for it and let's work on the screen together. Now the images I'm going to use are from this one here over to this one here. So first of all I'm going to press the shift key on my keyboard and then I'm going to select all those images until they go light grey. Then I'm going to right click and then I'm going to go to photo merge and then select panorama. Okay, so here we go, we've got our merge and we've got a preview of what the merge is going to look like. So with spherical, this puts the images together as if they were kind of in a sphere, so to speak, just as you see the images. With cylindrical, this is the one I often use the most. Again, it puts the images together, but in a kind of cylinder form, and it tries to keep verticals completely vertical. And then you've got perspective. Now this works well when you've got a small amount of photographs, and it works well for architectural photography. But in this case, it completely distorts and bends the view of the panorama. 9 times out of 10, I choose cylindrical. You can use boundary warp. If you're going to use boundary warp to kind of move that boundary slightly, I would only move it slightly. I generally don't use boundary warp. And then we've got auto settings. I don't use auto crop, I like to crop my own. I tend not to create a stack. And another useful option, which sometimes can work very well and other times not so well, is fill edges. So if we do that, you can see what it does. So in this case, fill edges has worked pretty well. You can see that it's filled this edge down here and filled this side down here. We'll check that in Lightroom to make sure that it looks fine. And then when you're ready, press the merge button. Okay, so here is my final panorama. So what I need to do now is do some editing to it to change the exposure and add to some areas of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is to have a look at the sky and try and bring down the exposure in the sky a little bit. So I'm going to add linear gradient to the sky. Okay, so I've got my linear gradient where I want it in the sky. Now what to do is just take down that exposure a little bit. Now you need to be careful because you don't want to have an unnatural looking sky like this. You really want to be careful with your linear gradient. Okay, that's fine. So the next thing is to work on other areas. So the middle ground here is a little bit overexposed as well. So one of my favourite tools is the luminance range tool. And if we just take a droplet from here, then it will show you the area that it's editing. So we want to take that area down slightly because we don't want the sky in it. So this has got all the lighter areas in it, and these are the areas that I want to try and take down slightly. So I'm going to take down the exposure, and I'm going to dehaze some of those areas a little bit as well, but you need to be careful with dehaze on the ground. I'm going to add a small amount of clarity to them as well. And there we have it, final pano. So after more editing, this is the final image that I came up with for my panorama. So this is a view of the Massif Central from the Dent d'Oche, and I've done a video about this particular mountain scene, and you're very welcome to have a look in the link above. So this is made up of about 7 images, and I've shown you the whole process of going through this, but let's have a look at some others as well. So this is on Lac Le Mans. This is an amazing sunset, and this is made up of 5 different images. This is a pano of just 2 images, taken from Le Juvenile, also in the Alps. Now, it just creates a wider scene. It doesn't look like a panorama. It just allows your lens to get a little bit more width. The 24mm lens that I was shooting with stopped roughly about here on this section here, and it allowed me to put in the 2 peaks together. Lac de Tene, again, this is only a 3-shot pano, but it just gives you that width. Oh, and one last one. So this is Bathampton Meadows. So again, this was taken from 3 images and merged together, and it just gives that dramatic scene that you see in panoramas. So I hope now that you can see that making a panorama in Lightroom is relatively straightforward, but it allows you that flexibility. You don't need to make a panorama of 20 images. You could just make it of 2 or 3 just to get a bit of width out of your more wide angle view out of your lens. It's so versatile, but you just need to make sure that when you're there, you've got a tripod, you've set it up, you've leveled it, and then it makes your life so much easier. The more the computer's got to work, the less likely you are to get a good final product. So I hope that you've really enjoyed this video, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.